Armed with a hydrostatic cannon and sclerotized hooks, this 500-million-year-old pneumatic trap operates across all maritime extremes. Science named it the penis worm.
Boreal penis worm.
Arrayed in the freezing mud of coastal waters, a blind hunter waits. A target shifts in the silt. Here, visual tracking is biologically impossible, and the dense sediment offers the prey a crucial fraction of a second to escape. To counter this, the predator does not reach for its victim. It detonates. By triggering an extreme, instantaneous spike in internal pressure, the worm explosively everts its front body, the introvert, outward. This is not a muscular contraction. It is a pneumatic strike tearing through the resistance of the mud. The introvert is armed with concentric rings of sclerotized chitin hooks. The moment it makes contact, the pressure drops, and the apparatus violently retracts. The hardened hooks fold inward, functioning as a one-way biological claw machine, ripping the target straight into the digestive tract. Once inside, the prey faces peristaltic compression. Continuous hydraulic pressure waves travel along the muscular walls, methodically crushing the victim whole.
Cambrian penis worm.
Liburgis Shale holds a 505-million-year-old crime scene. In the primordial ocean, the seafloor was a barren, static layer of undisturbed sediment. To access untouched resources and evade early predators, this organism executed a fundamental shift in behavior. It conquered the solid Earth. They functioned as the first biological terraforming modules. By tunneling violently through the rock, they three-dimensionally plowed the seafloor, injecting oxygen into deep, toxic sediment layers. This bioturbation permanently altered the geochemical composition of the planet, effectively preparing the ocean for complex life. Fossil records confirm the violence of their dominance. Preserved stomachs reveal they systematically hunted and swallowed smaller members of their own species head first. This relentless subterranean cannibalism forced other prehistoric organisms to develop hard shells and armor just to survive the mud.
Baltic penis worm.
The Baltic Sea harbors localized dead zones. Oxygen is entirely absent, replaced by lethal concentrations of dissolved hydrogen sulfide. For a human, even brief exposure to this gas triggers an immediate, fatal central nervous system collapse. To survive this chemical wasteland, the worm initiates a severe metabolic shutdown. During acute toxic stress, it drops its biological functions to a near halt, entering a suspended state to simply outlast the poison. On a cellular level, it deploys detoxification mechanisms capable of processing hydrogen sulfide concentrations that obliterate standard marine life. Its exterior is reinforced with microscopic, hardened spines called spinuli. This acts as a physical anchor, stabilizing the organism in a highly acidic environment that dissolves lesser anatomies. It is a biological masterpiece. Yet science largely ignored its chemical invulnerability, choosing instead to name the entire phylum after a crude morphological punchline. We are still withholding the exact physical trigger for that joke, because while this scavenger thrives on poison, a specialized engineer is currently constructing a microscopic iron maiden in the silt.
Tube-dwelling penis worm.
Active hunting in deep sediment is an energy deficit. To survive, this organism abandoned mobile warfare and engineered a stationary trap. It constructs a reinforced tube from mud and detritus, burying its entire anatomy. Only a crown of specialized tentacles protrudes into the water column, acting as a high-sensitivity tripwire array. The moment a target brushes against these receptors, the response is purely kinetic. The entire tentacular apparatus is pulled back into the tube in milliseconds. It is a microscopic iron maiden, hidden in the soil, utilizing vacuum force retraction to secure its victim. This sessile strategy allows the predator to wait for months for a single, high-protein strike.
Coral penis worm.
Fine coral sand is not a fluid. It is a three-dimensional maze of solid grains held together by massive capillary forces. At this scale, a standard body plan would be permanently crushed or immobilized. This organism solved the problem through extreme miniaturization, reducing its entire architecture to under 2 millimeters. It does not burrow, it navigates the interstitial gaps between individual grains of sand. To move through this zero-clearance environment, it utilizes a muscular, elastic tail filament longer than its own body. This filament acts as a biological winch, anchoring the worm to a grain so it can pivot and recoil through the labyrinth with autonomous precision.
Pelagic penis worm.
One variant broke the gravitational lock of the seafloor. This is a wanderer of the open water column. To survive outside the protection of the mud, it transformed its entire hydrostatic skeleton into a buoyancy engine. It does not swim through muscular exertion. It maneuvers by precisely regulating the ionic concentration of its internal fluids. By becoming slightly less dense than the surrounding salt water, it achieves neutral buoyancy, drifting through the dark like a translucent biological sensor. It is a ghost in the machine of the open ocean, a rare transition from a subterranean scavenger to a mid-water predator, waiting for the vibration of passing zooplankton in the void.
Deep sea penis worm.
At 4,000 meters, the pressure is a relentless physical weight. In this abyss, the organism is a hydraulic engine. To move through the compacted clay of the deep sea floor, it utilizes its own internal body fluid as a high-pressure piston. By rhythmically expanding and contracting its muscular wall, it liquefies the sediment in front of it, gliding through the earth like a solid-state ghost. It tracks the infinitesimal pressure waves of passing prey without the need for light. When a target enters the kill zone, it anchors its rear body and fires its hooked throat with the precision of a pneumatic bolt gun.
Antarctic penis worm.
The Southern Ocean is a thermal trap. Beneath the ice, the water temperature drops below freezing, yet the high salinity prevents it from turning to solid ice. In this liquid, most biological systems crystallize and fail. But the Antarctic variant has weaponized the cold. It reaches lengths of 20 centimeters, making it a titan among its kin. Its metabolism utilizes specialized antifreeze proteins to maintain fluid mobility within its body cavity. This allows it to remain perfectly active while its prey is slowed by the lethargic physics of the frost. It is a cold core juggernaut, hunting in slow motion. It methodically tracks and consumes its victims, its chitin hooks tearing through flesh that has become brittle in the freezing depths. The name penis worm isn't scientific. Early specimens surfaced engorged. Atmospheric decompression forced the proboscis to evert into a rigid cylinder. Scientists named a half-billion-year-old predator after its worst day on deck.